that's a way for kids to watch. Because the biggest thing is for like when kids learn sport or find passion for the sport and want to get better, the biggest thing is they got to watch it and they got to understand it. And I feel like a lot of behind stuff that you guys are doing and the other channels that you mentioned are doing, kind of giving behind the curtain access of everything. And I think that's huge for growing the sport and just something that I kind of noticed about.
No, I'd agree. I mean, you brought up Giba, and it's funny, like he was probably the guy that I looked up to. I loved watching. The only reason why we got to see him was the Olympics every 4 years and his YouTube videos. I don't know if you've seen all of our videos, but we got to meet Giba.
Yeah, I saw
Snow Volleyball. And dude, he came up to us and he was wearing these sunglasses, so we didn't recognize him. And he said something to Riley, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And then he walks away, and then we see who he is. We're like, oh my God. I was like, Riley, what did you say to him? He's like, I didn't know who he was. And we ended up getting Giba on camera. All of us were a few beers deep. But I was like, dude, I would love to interview you. He's like, oh, let's do it right now. And he just runs up the hill in the snow, and he just starts telling us kind of his life story. And I've never been shell-shocked or starstruck in my life with a volleyball player, but I was with him because I watched him. And I say that because like YouTube does give younger people an opportunity to see some of these best players. And, you know, I think Titans Volleyball on YouTube does a great job of making smaller bits of content around some of the best players. But, you know, and we're slowly seeing, you know, Matt Anderson and Mike, not slowly. I mean, they are the best in the U.S., but I think it's narrowing that gap between the youth and the superstars of our sport.
Yeah, right.
Mike is a great person, Matt Anderson, and there's some more players that are up and coming. So I think just narrowing that gap between the youth and the superstars is going to help tremendously. Yep. Now, we're not the superstars, but we're the people in the middle just making videos about whatever we want.
Exactly. So, making videos of the superstars. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to kind of take it back to that snow volleyball. How did that get started? How did you guys get into snow volleyball? I mean, how did that all kind of come about?
Okay, how that worked out was we got a Facebook message from this Italian guy, and we didn't know who he was. Facebook, randomly meet people in volleyball.
Right.
But he's like, hey, I'm having a snow volleyball event in Prato di Nevoso, Italy. Would you guys be willing to come? We're like, yeah, we're in. It was not FIVB sanctioned, wasn't CEV sanctioned. It was literally like just a random local snow volleyball tournament. We're like, yeah, we're in. Paid for our flight and everything. And then we found out that there was an FIVB tournament the following weekend. So there was one U.S. team that got their way paid for. We didn't get our way paid for by USA. There was this other guy, Matteo. And so we played in that local tournament, which was so much fun. And then we drove across country from like western near France all the way to the Dolomites in like the Northwest with no plans in between, none. And Riley said we would just figure it out because Riley played in Italy for 3 years. He could speak Italian. And to say the least, it was one of the most amazing trips we've ever been. From tournament to tournament, we like randomly met someone at a restaurant who offered up their family's Airbnb on the hillside of a lake, which was a restored barn, which was incredible. And then his best friend owns and runs a pizza restaurant at the top of the mountain that no one really knows about, but it's the best pizza in all of northern Italy. And so we went up there, and it's the trips we've been on where we've just said yes to and not really have plans. It's probably not the best way to go about it, but it's definitely been the most entertaining. I'll say that.
Create some great stories, I'm sure.
Dude, we have so many, and like it's funny because filming and vlogging, it's a lot. It's hard. And you just kind of kick yourself when you're not filming all the time. You're not capturing all those things.
Yeah.
A lot of those stories don't even make our videos because we're like, it's finding that middle ground of like enjoying yourself, experience it, and then like documenting it.
Exactly. I mean, I took a trip to Japan. Max, there was a term you kind of told me about is the mind's eye is the best camera. And I think you got to find like a balance between, okay, you're living in the moment and then recording it. And I think when you're experiencing so much, you want to record it or you want to live in it. I think that's kind of that's a hard,
it is
kind of fine line right there.
No, for sure. And like one thing I've realized is like, I mean, being able to look back on it and have it though, I've went back to some 2018 stuff because you talked about media day with AVP. I'm looking for footage, and I'm like, just having this sort of stuff is like, it's so gold. So I always remind myself, this is something I want to have for the rest of my life. And we have our not big rigs, but digital cameras.